Okay, right here you see a 1979 Cat 245 front shovel. Now, out of all the older equipment that Caterpillar built, the 245 shovel is probably one of the rarest machines to find. And that's because there weren't a lot of 245s built as front shovels, mainly because there weren't a lot of companies that had a use for a shovel of this size. So most of the 245s that were built by Cat were either as excavators or mass excavators. So it's really, really rare to find a 245 shovel like this right here. So I'm going to show you around a little bit. Now, starting off, Cat offered two different buckets for their shovel version of the 245 and also the 235, which was also offered as a front shovel like you see here. The first bucket they offered is a 5-yard front dump bucket, and then the second was a 4-yard bottom dump or bull clam bucket like you see right here. For those who don't know what a front dump bucket is, it's basically a shovel bucket just like you see here, only the bottom doesn't open and close. You don't have the lip on it, so it's basically not a clam bucket. There weren't a lot of 245s or shovels in general that had those buckets on them, because with a front dump bucket you can't reach as high to dump your load, because the stick and boom have to be at a certain angle so the bucket will completely tip forward to dump its load. It was basically a customer preference. More customers would prefer the bull clam bucket like you see here, because you could do a lot more with it. One thing with this bucket, and this is with any front shovel, you can reach a lot higher to drop your load. This shovel right here, a 245, could easily clear a 40-ton haul truck. With a front dump bucket, though, it probably couldn't because of the height that the bucket is allowed to go. And also with a bull clam bucket like this, you can clean up around your floor, use your bucket to basically pick up rocks and stuff like that. It's more of an efficient bucket to run. So, and as I said, this bucket here is 4 yards. Now to show you around the machine itself, 245s were very unique in their design. You'll notice that the boom and stick are rather small for the size compared to the bucket that you see on it. And the boom and stick both were engineered perfectly to create a lot of power for when the machine was digging. Now underneath the machine here, you'll see this is where all your cylinders are to basically work your shovel configuration. This cylinder right here, the one that lifts the boom up and down, that's referred to as your master cylinder. And it had two functions. As it would raise the shovel boom, it would also pump oil into the two bucket cylinders right here. And the purpose of that was to keep the bucket more level and steady as it was digging into the bank. And the benefit of that was it created the bucket so it wouldn't reverse spill on it. And the master cylinder also increased the working strength of the boom and the lift capacity. So that was a pretty unique design that Caterpillar had. And you see here's your cylinder right here to work your stick. You'll notice that it's offset. It's not right in the center of the stick, and that's basically because of your master cylinder being off to the side right here. 245s were very easy to switch over from a shovel to a excavator, and that's why on all 245s you'll see the second connector for another cylinder right in the center here. Basically you could just switch it over to the shovel boom. Here's our crawlers right here. There were two different size shoes offered for the 245, 32-inch pads and 24-inch pads. These are 24s, and most of the shovels would have the 24-inch pads, as most of the time when you're running a shovel like this you want the crawlers to be smaller because you're working on real hard rock and stuff like that. Front shovels really don't need wide crawlers to spread the weight of the machine because they're usually meant to be working on solid ground to begin with. You know, you wouldn't have a machine like this working in a swamp like you might put a 245 excavator. And you can see the cat symbol right there on it, the Pac-Man symbol. Now the back of the machine, the body is exactly the same as a 245 excavator. And if you've seen my one walk around of the 245 excavator, it's basically exactly the same. The only difference is the shovel boom on it. The counterweight in the back right here. Now the 245 had a Cat 4-stroke model 3406 engine in it, which is a V6. It produced 325 horsepower for the machine. And radiator is basically right in here, and those two compartments will open up so you can service your engine. Under here, behind the counterweight, you can see your drive motors right there to work your tracks. I'll show you up by the cab. Cab is exactly the same as any 245. There's no special features that were really added to the machine when it was a shovel. One of the hand levers might have been installed with a switch to open and close the bucket. Not 100% sure. And the third lever, again right here, is to basically travel your machine to turn it left and right, or you could use the foot pedals. And there's all your gauges and everything right there. And there's the operator's view when he's running the machine. Now this excavator is all hydraulic over hydraulic control, meaning there's no electronics on it. Now at one time the 245 was the largest shovel that was built by Caterpillar. This was back when Caterpillar had the 200 series going. And the 200 series excavators are still considered some of the best excavators that Caterpillar ever built, because they're just all around excellent machines. But there she is, Cat 245 shovel.